Hello students, today we are going to discuss about gametogenesis, in which we will discuss today about oogenesis. First of all, let me discuss about definition of oogenesis. So what is a oogenesis? Oogenesis is the process of a formation of a mature female gamete, and such a process is called oogenesis. So let me repeat, what is a oogenesis? Oogenesis is the process of a formation of a mature female gamete, and it is called oogenesis. Okay, and oogenesis is initiated. Be very clear about these lines. Okay, so what is a oogenesis? You know very well now. Okay, and see here, these lines are very important. Oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development when a couple of a million gamete mother cells, that is called oogonia, are formed within the each fetal ovary. So before female born, these all will be formed. Okay, not after born. These all will be formed within the each fetal ovary before born and do not multiply thereafter. That means after born, they will not multiply. Okay, so whatever number of oogonia female have is already decided before born. All these cells will start division and stop the process at prophase 1 of the meiosis. Okay, means after born, what happen? These cells, okay, will be start division and stop the process as prophase 1 of the meiosis, and that will be blocked at this phase. Okay, prophase 1 phase. At this stage, these all are called primary oocytes, and this stage is called primary oocytes. Oogenesis is the formation and maturation of ovum. Okay, and it takes place in the follicles. Okay, and finally when it is mature, it is called Graafian follicles. Oogenesis is initiated in embryonic stage. Okay, and when millions of egg mother cells, and that is called oogonia, are formed within the each ovary. Okay, so here you can see oogonia, and it is formed within the each ovary. No more oogonia are formed. Be very clear about this line. No more oogonia are formed and added after birth. So whatever the oogonia is there in the female is before the born will remain same after the born. So no more oogonia is formed and added after the birth in case of a female. Oogonia multiply to form primary oocyte first. Okay, it will multiply and it will form primary oocyte. Then they will enter into prophase 1. Okay, and then what happen? They will enter into prophase 1 of the meiosis and get temporarily. Okay, it will get temporarily arrested at this stage. Means further process will not completed. Only up to prophase 1 it will be completed after born. Okay, and in this diagram you can see the ovary. Okay, this is the structure of ovary, and here you can see this is the this structure is ovary, and inside that here you can see this is the primary follicle here. Okay, this is the primary follicle, and then it will be enlarged like this, and this will act as a follicular cells. And inner side here, this is the indication. Here you can see the inner side, this purplish color cell is called primary oocyte. This primary oocyte, and that is arrested at prophase 1. Okay, as I already told you, they are enter into prophase 1 of meiosis and get temporarily arrested. This will arrested. Okay, and these will go further after puberty age of a female, that is a 12 to 13 years. After born, it will be arrested, and then what happen? Up to 12 to 13 year, it will be arrested up to that, and then after 12 to 13 year, it will be activated, and it will converted into follicular fluid and all that. This all will be completed. Each primary oocytes gets surrounded by the layer of granulosa cells to form primary follicle. Okay, here you can see these are the cells. It will layered. Okay, and this layer is called granulosa cells. A large number of primary follicles degenerate. See, very important this point is, a large number of primary follicles degenerate during the phase from birth to puberty. Means I already told you at birth at the time of birth, cells all oocyte will be arrested at the prophase 1 stage. Okay, and up to which age? Up to 12 to 13 age of a female. Okay, and that age is called puberty age. And after puberty, this will activated further. Okay, and therefore at puberty only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles are left in each ovary. Okay, what happened? Let me repeat. A large number of primary follicles degenerate or damage during the phase of birth to puberty. Up to these years, so many oocytes will be damaged, and therefore at the puberty only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicle will be remain or left in the each ovary. Okay, so what happened after that? After puberty, this cell will be grow, or we can say complete its further procedure. Here in this slide you can see oral process of development of ovarian follicle. Okay, so first of all, first stage is of a primary follicle, and that is only surrounded by granulosa cell. Okay, so primary oocyte here will only surrounded by granulosa cell, a layer of a granulosa cell surrounding a primary oocyte. Okay, and second stage is a secondary follicle. Okay, and here you can see some more layers are there, more layers of granulosa cell and new theca surrounding a primary oocyte. This is a primary oocyte that is more grown than this one. Okay, and it is surrounded by primary oocyte is surrounded by theca, and that is a new theca. Okay, so this is theca cells, bluish color, then cortical granules, granulosa cell, greenish color, zona pellucida. This yellowish color is the zona pellucida. Okay, that is a more layer. We will discuss in detail. This is just overview. Each step we will discuss in detail. Then tertiary follicle, here you can see. Okay, so it will be fluid filled cavity, and that fluid filled cavity is called antrum. Okay, so this is the fluid filled cavity, and that is called antrum. Okay, and theca layer form inner theca interna. Okay, and outer one is called theca externa. So here theca layer will be differentiated into two. Inner one is called theca interna and outer one is called theca externa. Okay, so by this way, this secondary follicle will have more layers surrounding this type of oocyte. Okay, and then this Graafian follicle will be formed, and up to this means first of all primary follicle, then secondary follicle, then tertiary follicle, and now Graafian follicle. Out of these all stages, this Graafian follicle is a fully matured follicle. Okay, now it is ready for the release of an egg cell, and that is called ovulation. So this Graafian follicle is now ready for the ovulation process. Okay, and this may have so many other structures also, theca externa, theca interna, antrum, granulosa cells, corona radiata, okay, and cumulus operosus. Now let me discuss all stages one by one in detail. So first of all, primary oocyte gets surrounded by flattened layer of a follicular squamous cells. Okay, and it is called primordial follicle. Okay, so first of all, primordial follicle will be generated. Okay, so first of all, primary oocytes get surrounded by flattened layer of a follicular squamous cell. This is a squamous cell, and it is called primordial follicle. Then a flattened follicular cells become cuboidal. Okay, that flattened cell is become cuboidal and proliferate to produce a stratified epithelium which constitute the membrana granulosa, and finally it will be called granulosa cells. It is made up of granulosa cells. Okay, so let me repeat what happened next. So flattened follicular cells, that is squamous cells, will become cuboidal, and now it will be proliferate to produce a stratified epithelium, okay, which constitute the membrane granulosa, and now this will convert into primary follicle, and it will be surrounded by granulosa cells. Follicles at this stage of development are called primary follicles. So now onward, all the primordial follicles are now called primary follicles. A homogeneous membrane, the zona pellucida, and that is made up of glycoprotein layer. So one layer, more layer, that is a zona pellucida, and made up of glycoprotein layer, appears between primary oocyte and granulosa cells. So in between primary oocyte and granulosa cell, one more layer will be formed, and that is made up of glycoprotein layer, and that is now called zona pellucida. So firstly, zona pellucida will start appearing in this stage. Innermost layer of granulosa cells are firmly attached to zona pellucida, forming the corona radiata. That means here you can see this is a zona pellucida. Okay, this zona pellucida is there. So near to this one, this layer, not uniform layer, that is the corona radiata, and this is the granulosa cell layer. Okay, and this granulosa cell layer attached with the zona pellucida firmly, and this is called corona radiata. Now the zona pellucida is a membrane derived from the ovum. Okay, so zona pellucida is formed because of a membrane. Okay, and that is from the ovum membrane. So zona pellucida is nothing but it is a membrane derived from the ovum. Okay, and the innermost layer of granulosa cells are firmly attached to zona pellucida and it will form corona radiata. So after all of you this you can see zona pellucida and near to the corona radiata. Now onward in next stage a cavity and that is called antrium. Okay, so cavity that is called antrium will appear within the membrane granulosa. So now here you can see, okay, what happened first? Primordial follicles will develop into the primary follicles. Okay, then zona pellucida will start appearing. Okay, corona radiata will start appearing and that is oocyte. Okay, and finally next stage is a secondary follicle here and here you can see one cavity will be observed. Okay, and such a cavity is called antrium and it will appear within the membrane granulosa. The follicular cavity increase in size one after another. Here you can see the size of this cavity will be increased. Okay, and as a result, the wall of the follicle become relatively thin. Here you can see wall of a follicle will be become relatively thin here. Okay, it will be become thin. The oocyte now lies eccentrically in the follicle. Okay, here you can see in the center it will be lies. Okay, and it will be surrounded by some granulosa cells and that is called cumulus ophorus. Okay, so special kind of layer, it is a cumulus ophorus and it is made of granulosa cells. As the follicle expands, the stromal cells surrounding the membrane granulosa become condensed to form a covering, the one more layer or one more cover, and that is called theca interna. So internal side there will be theca interna, and outside the theca interna some fibrous tissue become condensed. Okay, here what is condensed? A granulosa layer will be condensed and it will form theca interna. And now outside the theca interna, the theca interna itself is a granulosa layer, right? And now what happened? Outside the theca interna some fibrous tissue become condensed. This layer will be of fibrous tissue. Okay, and it will be condensed to form another covering, another layer, and that is called theca externa. So now you can understand these having two layers. In the inner side there will be theca interna and outer side there will be theca externa. So finally, after antrium formation, then theca interna and theca externa formation, this is now called secondary follicle. Okay, so now these follicles are called secondary follicle, which will have theca interna, theca externa, antrum. This whole structure will be present over here. The cells of theca interna later secrete a hormone, and that is called estrogen. This is the main female hormone, okay, which is responsible for egg formation and egg-related processes. Okay, we will learn in detail about estrogen function. Okay, but these estrogen will be secreted by theca interna. Follicle will mature up to the secondary follicle level, and after reaching this stage, the primary oocyte within the secondary follicle will grow in size and finally it will complete the meiosis 1. Okay, so this primary oocyte will now start and completion of a meiosis 1 after reaching up to the secondary follicle. These process will not initiated at the primary follicle level. Okay, so this primary follicle will grow up to the secondary follicle first. Okay, then it will complete the meiosis 1. And this meiotic 1 is not a equal division. Here you can see the two cell which is generated is not equal in size. One is a larger one and one is a smaller one. And that's why it is written here unequal division. Okay, so one will result into larger size cell and one will be result into the smaller size. So one which is larger in size is called secondary oocyte and second which is smaller in size is called first polar body. Okay, so it is an unequal division resulting in the formation of a large haploid secondary oocyte. Okay, and that is called haploid. Just because it is a meiotic division, it will convert this diploid cell will now convert into haploid, and this large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body, and that is also haploid. You can understand because meiotic cell division occur. That's why this diploid cell will convert into two haploid cell, but here a division is not equal. This is an unequal division. So larger size cell is there and smaller size cell will be there. Larger one is called secondary oocyte. Okay, and the smaller one is called first polar body. Now the secondary oocyte retain bulk of the cytoplasm. Okay, because mostly all the cytoplasm will be remain here in secondary oocyte, whereas this will get a small amount of a cytoplasm. Okay, so the secondary oocyte retains bulk of the cytoplasm, and that's why it is nutrient rich of the primary oocyte. Then the second meiotic site begin, but stop at metaphase 2. After first meiotic division, second meiotic phase will be initiated. Okay, but this will not complete it. Okay, second meiotic stage will be initiated, but it will not complete it. Then the second meiotic stage will be begin, but stop at metaphase 2. Be very clear about this. These meiotic 2 division will completed only after fertilization, not before that. Okay, if this cell is fertilized, then only this meiotic 2 will be completed, otherwise it will be incomplete. So the second meiotic division will start but stop at metaphase 2. After secondary oocyte formation, the secondary follicle further changes into the mature follicle. Okay, so now this secondary follicle, after secondary oocyte formation, it will converted into mature follicle, and now it is called Graafian follicle, or it is also called as a tertiary follicle. So this will convert into this structure, and now after Graafian follicle form or a tertiary follicle form, now it is ready for the ovulation process. After Graafian follicle formation, now Graafian follicle is now ready for the release of the ovum, and that is a secondary oocyte, and thus this process is called ovulation process. And first of all, what happened for this process? The Graafian follicle is first very small compared to the thickness of the cortex. Here you can see thickness of the cortex will be very less. Okay, and thickness of the cortex of the ovary. This Graafian follicle will enlarge. Here you can see it will enlarge and it becomes so big. Here you can observe. Okay, it becomes so big that it is not only reaches the surface of the ovary but also forms a bulging in this situation. Here you can see the bulging of a Graafian follicle outside or out wall of the ovary. Okay, and ultimately what happened? Ultimately the follicle rupture. Here you can see. Okay, this Graafian follicle will rupture, you can see here, and now it will release the ovum. Now let us discuss about structure of a ovum or egg. Okay, so first of all, a shape of a ovum is a spherical, and it is a non-motile structure, and size of a egg cell will be 0.2 millimeter in diameter, and ovum has a 3 layers or a membranes. Okay, so innermost layer will be oolemma, that is also called plasma membrane, that is the innermost layer. Here you can see greenish color layer, and that is a oolemma or a plasma membrane. Center one is a zona pellucida, or middle one will be zona pellucida, and that is the outer to plasma membrane. Okay, and then finally outermost layer, here you can see yellowish color, and that is the corona radiata, that is the outermost layer form of a follicle cells. These are the follicle cells. Okay, that is made up of these follicle cells, and it is called corona radiata. Here in this slide you can see some more details about the ovum, and here you can observe a layer or a space in between a cell membrane, and cell membrane is also called vitelline membrane. Okay, and second layer is a zona pellucida. So in between cell membrane, that is also called vitelline membrane, and the zona pellucida, a space in between these two layers is called perivitelline space. Here you can observe this is a perivitelline space. Now let me compare between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Okay, so the spermatogenesis process will occur into the testes. Okay, and then oogenesis process occur inside the ovary. Okay, and this will occur in the male and this will occur in the female. Now limited growth phase here. Okay, and here you will observe elaborated growth phases. Okay, then here each primary spermatocyte will give you 4 sperm cell, which is active sperm cell. Okay, but here what happened, after each primary oocyte, each will give you only 1 ovum. Rest 3 will be polar bodies that will not utilize for the fertilization process. So only 1 ovum will be obtained here. So here no polar body formation is there, but here polar body are formed. Okay, and it will occur, means it will begin, means spermatogenesis will begin at the age of puberty in the male and extend up to the salinity. Okay, and here it will begin at the embryonic stage, but what happen in between? It will suspend up to the puberty, Okay, it will arrested up to the puberty, and further it will cease or stop around the age of 50, and that is called menopausal age of a female. So this is your homework for today's lecture, and before we finish this lecture, let me go through one animation video. So look at this video.
When the germinal epithelium cells in the ovary of the fetus divide mitotically to form gamete mother cells called oogonia. A few oogonia divide again to form two immature cells called primary oocytes. The primary oocyte then gets enveloped by a layer of squamous granulosa cells, and together they make up the primordial follicle. The oocyte further develops as the fetus develops, but the granulosa cells do not change till puberty. In fact, primary oocytes enter the prophase of meiotic division and remain suspended till puberty. Did you know that at birth, a female has approximately 7 lakh oocytes? Incidentally, no oocytes are formed after birth. But by puberty, most of the primary oocytes degenerate, leaving only about 4 lakh in the ovary. At puberty, the release of LH and FSH hormones stimulate some primary oocytes to resume meiotic division that had begun during the woman's fetal stage. Moreover, due to FSH, the squamous cells of the primordial follicle enlarge and become cuboidal. The dividing primary oocyte and the cuboidal granulosa cells now make up the primary follicle. The primary follicle is transformed into a secondary follicle when it enlarges and is surrounded by several layers of granulosa cells, which in turn are enveloped by a developing theca or capsule. Later, these granulosa cells secrete estrogen, which creates the antrum, a fluid-filled cavity among the granulosa cells. Moreover, the theca becomes evident and gets organized into 2 layers, theca interna and externa. This structure is now called the tertiary follicle. As the secondary follicle transforms itself into a tertiary follicle, the primary oocyte within the follicle completes meiotic division, which is unequal and yields a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body. The polar body is believed to degenerate, leaving the tertiary follicle with only the secondary oocyte or ovum. As the tertiary follicle develops into a mature follicle or Graafian follicle, the antrum grows and the secondary oocyte and surrounding granulosa cells are pushed towards one end of the follicle. The granulosa cells secrete a glycoprotein substance that forms a membrane, the zona pellucida, around the secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte or ovum is released from the Graafian follicle when it ruptures due to a surge in LH in the body. This process, called ovulation, causes the oocyte or ovum to be placed in the oviduct, where it awaits fertilization by sperm. In this way, the ovum and sperm are formed through a long and intricate process called gametogenesis.
In next lecture, we will learn about menstrual cycle. So till that, goodbye.